Okay, so today we're diving into something pretty fascinating, I think. I mean, who isn't interested in becoming more, mesmerizing and attractive?
Yeah, definitely a popular topic.
And what's interesting is the video you shared, this How to Become Mesmerizing and Attractive
Hmm.
by the Thewizardliz, really dives deep, right? It's not just about superficial stuff.
Right, it goes way beyond just like looks. It's more about this presence, this aura that you kind of project.
Exactly, and that's what we're going to unpack. So it touches on, well, lots of things: communication skills, body language,
Mm.
even emotional intelligence.
And self-awareness, healing, even things like addiction. It's pretty comprehensive.
Yeah, so our mission here, I guess, is to kind of distill all that, find the nuggets, the really useful takeaways that people can actually use.
Absolutely. And see how all these different pieces kind of fit together. Because I think what the video really highlights is that it's not just one thing. It's this combination of factors that work together to create that really magnetic personality.
One of the things that really stood out to me right away was that emphasis on, like, making other people feel important, putting your phone away, giving them your full attention. It's something we all know we should do, but...
We don't always do it.
Right. Exactly. But the video really emphasizes, like, the impact that has. Not just, being polite, but actually boosting someone's confidence.
Yeah, and I think it goes even deeper than that. When you're truly present with someone, really listening, it kind of validates them. Like you're saying you matter. And I think at a fundamental level, we all crave that.
Right. We all want to be seen.
And think about it. When you have a really positive interaction, when you feel heard and appreciated, how does that make you feel?
It feels good.
Exactly. It's almost like there's this dopamine hit, like a reward.
So it's almost like this positive feedback loop.
Yeah.
The more you focus on making others feel good, the better the interaction is for everyone.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be, some grand gesture, just small things like letting someone finish their thought, asking genuine questions.
It even mentions, like, approaching every interaction as if that person has something captivating to offer, like changing your mindset.
Which is interesting because then that changes how you approach the interaction, right? You're already kind of primed to find something interesting.
It makes me think, like, if everyone tried that for just one interaction today, how different would things be?
Something to think about for sure.
Now, let's talk about communication skills, because that was a big focus. The video mentions how the speaker herself is always praised for her communication. And it's not just about speaking well, it's about putting your thoughts together.
Right. Yeah, being articulate, but also being mindful, not causing offense, explaining things simply. The video uses this analogy of, like, explaining it to a 5-year-old.
Which, I guess, even if you're not talking to a 5-year-old.
It means you really understand it, right? If you can break it down that simply.
And it makes it accessible to more people.
Absolutely.
And then there's body language, which is like another layer of communication. Facing someone directly, open posture, visible hands.
Eye contact.
Right, eye contact.
Yeah.
So much is communicated non-verbally.
It's fascinating, really. Like, even from an evolutionary standpoint, facing someone head-on, open posture, it signals you're not a threat.
Right, you're open to engagement.
Visible hands, historically, meant you weren't hiding a weapon. It builds trust.
And eye contact. I mean, some people really struggle with that. But the video gives some good tips, like focusing on the space between the eyebrows.
Or using sunglasses to practice.
And research shows that eye contact actually triggers oxytocin, the bonding hormone.
Creates a sense of connection.
And the source directly says, good eye contact makes you seem more trustworthy. Makes sense.
It does.
Adaptability was another big one. Being able to, adjust to different people and situations.
Right, and the video links that to, like, intelligence. And not just IQ, but emotional intelligence.
Being able to understand and manage your own emotions, but also recognize those of others.
Exactly. It's like social awareness. Knowing not everyone shares your beliefs. Like the video talks about religion, for example.
Some topics can be more sensitive than others.
Right, and it might require a different approach.
It's like having a social radar, right? Knowing when to be direct, when to be more gentle.
Absolutely.
And then there's this whole thing about mimicry and similarity. It's kind of fascinating. Apparently, research suggests that we're drawn to people who behave like us.
It's kind of subconscious, isn't it? Like, our brains seek out the familiar. Think about, like, couples who've been together for a long time.
They start to mirror each other.
Mannerisms, facial expressions even. It's like this deep level of connection.
And the video suggests, like, a practical takeaway from this is to find common ground.
Yeah.
Maybe even, like, subtly mirror their communicating style.
Not in a creepy way, but just enough to kind of say, I get you.
It reinforces that feeling of being understood.
Exactly.
Okay, this next one is, well, it seems obvious, but it's not always easy. Say what you mean.
Yes. The video is very clear about this. People are not mind readers.
Especially in relationships. Expecting your partner to just know what you're thinking or feeling,
Recipe for disaster.
it can lead to so much misunderstanding, conflict.
So even if it feels uncomfortable, being direct, clearly articulating your thoughts.
It builds trust.
And it's actually a very attractive trait, according to the source.
Then there's this idea of mystery. Not being secretive, but...
Not revealing everything about yourself to everyone you meet.
Right.
Yeah.
Maintaining some privacy. Not everyone deserves that level of vulnerability.
It also mentions, like, avoiding constant arguments, which, yeah, definitely not attractive.
No one wants to be around that.
So it's about choosing your battles, prioritizing peace, and even when there's conflict, knowing how to manage it. Stay calm, don't yell.
It shows self-control, composure.
Attractive qualities for sure.
Now, the video also talks about interacting with the opposite gender. It emphasizes making a conscious effort, like making it a point to have regular conversations.
This is especially important if, someone's had limited experience or maybe even negative experiences with the opposite gender.
Right. It can really impact your confidence.
The video actually talks about the speaker's own experience being raised to not really interact with men and how that kind of impacted her later in life.
So the advice is like, start small. Just have little conversations every day.
Normalize it.
Build up that comfort level. Okay, let's talk about self-love and self-care. The video is very clear. Looking like you love yourself makes a huge difference.
And it starts with the basics. Cleanliness. It sends such a strong message.
Like, I respect myself.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just how you look. It's about actually taking care of yourself, eating well, staying hydrated. The video talks about your body as a vessel, something to be cherished.
And there's this story about a friend who, wasn't conventionally attractive, but was just so mesmerizing.
Right. And it was because of their energy, their confidence. And that stemmed from taking care of themselves, having good manners, being clean.
It shows that true attractiveness goes way beyond just looks.
Absolutely.
Now, this next part got pretty deep. Healing trauma.
Yeah, the video talks about using hypnotherapy, and actually the speaker shares their own experience, how dealing with past trauma actually led to, physical improvements.
Like all that baggage you're carrying around.
It weighs you down, literally and figuratively.
It can manifest in so many ways. The video mentions binge eating, eating disorders, even physical ailments.
And it refers to that book, Many Lives, Many Masters, about a woman who, after hypnotherapy, just her whole energy shifted. People reacted to her differently.
It's like when you clear out all that negativity, you shine brighter.
And that's attractive, that self-awareness, that willingness to heal.
Now, this next one seems small, but it's really powerful. Remembering details.
It makes people feel seen, right? Like you actually listened.
Even just remembering birthdays.
The video suggests, if you're not good at remembering things, write it down. Keep notes.
It's about showing that you care.
Yeah, it builds connections.
Okay, let's talk about humor.
Yeah.
Having a good sense of humor is a huge plus, according to the source.
It's attractive, it makes interactions more fun, and it's often a sign of intelligence.
Emotional intelligence, too.
Absolutely. The video even says, if you want to develop your sense of humor, watch comedians. See what makes people laugh.
And it's about not taking yourself too seriously.
But of course, there's a line. The video is also very clear about dealing with disrespect.
Becoming cold, setting boundaries.
Removing toxic people from your life. It's about self-respect.
Now, unpredictability. Apparently, being a little unpredictable can be quite alluring.
But in a positive way, of course. Not, unreliable or anything.
More like keeping things interesting, a little spontaneous.
The video gives the advice of, talk about your goals, but then let your actions speak for themselves. It builds anticipation.
Okay, so this next one is mainly for women, but it's interesting nonetheless. Embracing sensuality.
The video suggests things like dancing, belly dancing, wearing heels, even porking, but in private.
It's about connecting with your body, building confidence.
There's this idea that women hold energy in their hips, and moving that way can be really releasing emotionally.
It's about being comfortable in your own skin.
Literally and figuratively.
Which leads us to, just that. Being comfortable in your own skin. The video really emphasizes that authenticity is attractive.
You don't have to be like everyone else. Embrace what makes you unique.
It gives examples of people who, had very different styles, but were just so confident it was magnetic.
It's about finding that balance between self-improvement and accepting yourself as you are right now.
So this next one is interesting. It's almost like a mind trick, acting like a blessing.
The video explains that our brains don't always know the difference between what's real and what we tell ourselves.
So if you project confidence, even if you don't feel it,
Your brain starts to believe it.
it's about posture, presence, self-talk. But importantly, it's not about being arrogant,
No, it's about valuing yourself
being kind to yourself.
and owning your mistakes, but without putting yourself down.
Okay, now for a more serious topic. Avoiding addictions.
The video is pretty straightforward about this. Addictions are not attractive.
They suggest a lack of self-control,
Weakness. And it mentions this experiment, the rat park experiment.
which basically showed that addiction can be linked to a lack of belonging, connection.
It's a really interesting perspective, and the video talks about finding healthy communities, hobbies, things that give you purpose.
He shares a personal story about overcoming food addiction through connection, and it gives the advice to, avoid public displays of addiction.
It's about protecting your reputation, but also recognizing that those behaviors often stem from something deeper, trauma.
So, seeking help if needed.
Very important.
Finally, the video talks about maintaining your level.
Not lowering your standards to fit in.
The people around you should be inspiring you, lifting you up.
Not dragging you down. The video uses this analogy of, you can't go backward. You can't unlearn what you've learned. You can't ungrow.
It's about knowing your worth and being with people who are on a similar path.
People who match your energy, your drive.
So I think what we've learned today is that becoming mesmerizing, attractive, it's not just one thing. It's this whole journey of self-discovery.
It's about how you interact with the world, but also how you treat yourself.
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
So here's something to consider. Of everything we talked about, what resonated with you the most? And what's one small thing you could do, like today, to start cultivating that captivating presence? Maybe it's just being fully present with the next person you talk to. You never know what kind of impact that could have.
It could be huge.
It could be.